Hi, John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to this Black Belt Leadership Master Your Life podcast. When I started my first martial arts school many years ago, I didn't have a large team that I or my business partner could rely on. Kyle and I were it. We had to do everything. And while my business partner was a gifted teacher, he had never run a business before. And as a result of that, what did I find? A lot of the administrative duties fell on me by default. And that became apparent early on in our time working together that for us to grow our business and to make the impact we wanted to make, we had to grow our team. Now, I was recently in Florida for a speaking event, and while I was there, the hotel I stayed in was across the street from a soccer stadium. I had the opportunity to go out on my balcony and watch as two teams battled it out as the ball moved up and down the field. I reminisced to the days when I played soccer in college, but enjoyed watching soccer being played at a very high level. Now, of particular note to me as I watched the game was the fact that the players would come in and out of the game with the goal of keeping fresh legs on the field all the time. Based upon the level of play, and they were playing at a very high level, it was apparent that these two teams had gone to great lengths to build a deep bench of players who could step in and perform at a high level. Now, I witnessed this very same level of training and recruiting when I had an opportunity to go visit my sister in Nashville, Tennessee, and she took me to a professional hockey game. Throughout the game, the players would swoop in and out of the bench, giving a respite for fellow team members while maintaining a high level of intensity on the floor. These teams, both the teams that played that night, demonstrated a depth of experience. High-level players working together and utilizing their unique skills and talents to make a difference. Even those who weren't the starters had an opportunity throughout the game to step in and make a contribution. What I thought was interesting was the quality of play didn't diminish simply because the starters were on the bench or found themselves in the penalty box, which is often the case when we're dealing with hockey. But the teams had a deep bench. And as a result of that, they had highly qualified, highly skilled, talented players that were ready to step in and continue the game. Now, let's think about what could happen. And imagine you're the coaching staff of the New England Patriots or the Dallas Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers, or you pick your favorite professional football team, and they're going to go out and they're going to recruit new players to play on their professional sports team. But rather than going to colleges and universities, they're recruiting from a local little league. Can you imagine the quality of play as the 300-pound tackle lines up across from a 75-pound, 10-year-old boy who's playing his first or second year of flag football? No professional team recruits individuals who lack talent or ability and can't add value to the team when they're called upon to do so. Yet every day in business, leaders attempt to either do it all alone or they hand mission-critical tasks off to individuals who are untrained or ill-suited to perform at the level necessary to achieve success. Leaders fail to invest in their most important asset, and that's raising up the leaders on their team. As a result of that, is it any wonder why businesses fail, why vision is never realized, and dreams remain only a wish or a prayer? Maybe we should learn a lesson from the NBA, from the NFL, from the NHL, and other professional sports teams that demonstrate on the court, the field, or the rink what I like to refer to as the law of the bench. Understand this, that any organization, regardless of its size, is only as good as the depth of its bench. Michael Jordan, as fantastic a player as he was, could not have achieved the success and dominance that he saw in the NBA without a talented supporting cast. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and other greats in the football world would not be considered among the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game if it were not for their offensive line and a highly skilled group of receivers and running backs that helped them move the ball forward and score touchdowns, field goals, and extra points. Now, there are 4 key steps necessary to building a great team. You need to attract, recruit, train, and empower. Now, let's talk about attraction for just a minute. It's important to get the right players looking at you and considering your value proposition. So if you can't make yourself or your business attractive to the talented people you'd like to have working on your team, you're never going to have an opportunity to gain a following. So if you want to attract the right players, you've got to make yourself and your business attractive to the talent that you want to recruit. Secondly, you've got to be able to recruit the right players. And once you get those right players looking at you and your team, your next step is to convince them to join you. Your passion for what you believe in, what you want to accomplish, that has to become contagious, and they have got to buy into the vision and mission statement of your business. And when you have an opportunity to see that they have the same passion that you do, and they have a plan to make that passion become a reality, and they can see that you have a process they can step into, plug into, and contribute and see success, you've now not only attracted them, you've given them the opportunity to see that by recruiting them to your team, together, you can do more than you could on your own. Now, the next thing you've got to do is you've got to train your team members. Once you attract and recruit the right players on your team, now the difficult task of getting those individuals to work together as a team has to happen. And that means every day you've got to be investing in growing the individuals as individuals, but also growing them as a team. You've got to ask yourself the question how each individual's unique gifts and talents and skills best support the overall efforts of the organization. You've got to identify what supplemental training is going to be needed to help each individual hone their unique individual skills, but also learn to integrate those skills for the good of the entire organization. Michael Jordan said it best when he said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. And then lastly, you've got to empower the players on your team. That means you've got to get the right players to win as a team. Because when you win and you get those early wins, that's mission critical to your long-term success. You know, you could go out and assemble a literal who's who of basketball greats, but if they refuse to work together, they refuse to cooperate, they refuse to come together for the good of the team, their ability to win as a cohesive unit is greatly diminished. And the players on your team need to be empowered to lead themselves and others while each is doing their part to get the team to the podium. That is the power of the law of the bench. So let me leave you with this question. Who's on your bench? And how deep is the talent pool within your organization? Are you attracting the right people? Are you recruiting and training them? Are you investing in your most important asset, your employees, on a daily basis to help them become a better version of themselves? So together as a team, they can be empowered to help the team win. You got to be able to answer the question of what you're doing to motivate, to inspire, and to equip each individual team member to take the organization to the top of Mount Everest. Remember this, your team is only as good as the talent you put on the field and the talent that you've got on the bench to support them when they need help from others or they need a respite and they need a break from what they're doing to catch their breath. Now, the better you are at attracting, recruiting, training, and empowering your team members, the greater your odds of achieving gold medal success. Hey, I'm John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and I want to say thank you for joining me for this Black Belt Leadership Podcast. And I hope you have a great day as you continue to discover, develop, and deploy not only your own Black Belt leader within, but the Black Belt leaders of those on your team.